couple weeks ago, I'm standing on a range in Texas. First drill, guns come out, and the line splits in half. Some folks showed up to work. The rest want proof they were there. You probably know which side you claim, but your carry gun might not back you up. By the end of this video, I'm hitting you with a 3-question serious shooter carry test. Most people fail. From my lane, everything looks the same at the start. Polymer frames, dots everywhere. Then the sun cooks everyone, round count climbs, and the setups start dying. Same few pistols just keep chewing through mags, and it's almost never the internet hero from the comments. Those are the guns we're talking about. 7 handguns I keep seeing on people who actually train, plus a bonus that's smaller than it has right to be. If your carry gun doesn't fit this crowd, you've got a decision to make. Let's start at number 7. Last year, I signed up for a 2-day handgun class in Texas. Heat wave, no wind, the range felt like a parking lot with berms. I was already pissed off before the first round left the gun. Ammo bill hurt, sweat in my eyes, and I'd brought a Beretta APX A1 that the internet treats like a rental with a logo. On the first break, the guy next to me looks down the line and snorts at it, throws out a crack about budget Beretta and how serious shooters move on from stuff like that. I didn't say a word. Loaded mags. Waited for the long strings. By lunch, his cooler pistol had coughed twice on cheap ammo and one sloppy grip. My APX was scorching hot, filthy, and still chewing through drills. The trigger kept breaking the same way, even with sweat all over my hands. The slide just kept cycling, like it didn't care how cooked it was. A couple of the same guys who laughed at it earlier suddenly wanted to try a mag. I walked in thinking the APX A1 was the Beretta nobody really wanted. I left figuring the dudes who keep showing up with them aren't chasing status at all. And the next gun on this list got even more eye rolls than the APX, right up until it embarrassed a few pricier choices. Wind was ripping across the bays at a local match. Dust in everybody's eyes. Steel swinging harder than it should. It was one of those days where guns and shooters both start to come apart by lunch. A buddy of mine showed up with a Ruger RXM on his hip, and nobody made a big deal out of it. Guys were flexing Staccatos, tricked out Glocks, race guns with more money and parts than I had in my truck tires. That Ruger looked like a truck gun that accidentally wandered onto the range. By the third stage, malfunctions started stacking up. Light strikes, weird feed issues, optics walking loose. People were begging for loaner pistols just to finish the day. That RXM turned into the community spare. 3 different shooters ran it on the clock with whatever ammo they had left. Bad grips, rushed reloads. It just kept barking. I finally grabbed it when my own pistol started getting cute with some sketchy reloads. No drama. I could drag the sights back onto steel without thinking. Every press felt familiar, and the gun acted like it didn't even notice how dirty it was. That's when it stopped being a budget Ruger to me. Serious shooters remember which gun quietly finishes everyone else's stages, and the RXM keeps doing that. A few months back, I'm walking into a low-light class, and there's a patrol cop from a little town outside mine, still in his duty boots, dead tired eyes, carrying an FN Reflex XL MRD as his off-duty gun. Not some micro toy, not a flex piece, just that FN with a dot on it. On break, he tells me straight up, "Tiny guns crush my qual scores. This one doesn't." I kind of shrugged it off. Looked like another company trying to crash the Micro 9 party. Instructor hears us talking and throws down a nasty accuracy drill on the timer. Cop runs that reflex first. Clean hits, ugly wind, long day, dot never lost the target. Meanwhile, the truly tiny pistols on the line start flinching their shooters into misses. He hands me the FN. I'm expecting snappy and miserable. Instead, the grip fills my hand. The dot settles fast, and every press lands where I'm calling it. No drama, no surprise flyers, even when I push pace. Driving home, I realized my "it's just off-duty" standard was garbage compared to his. Serious shooters copy the guys who have to pass drills tired, not the guys arguing online. And if this is what they carry off the clock, the next handgun on this list is what happens when you decide you're done compromising at all. A buddy of mine was at my kitchen table staring at the Taurus GX4 Carry like it owed him money. He taps the slide and says, "I'll bet you a case of ammo that thing won't make it through a hard day without acting like a Taurus." I wasn't exactly rushing to defend it. I just smiled and told him to bring cash and cheap ammo. Next weekend, we're out on a little strip of dirt behind his place. No benches, no shade, just steel, rocks, and a folding table. We loaded every kind of junk we could find into those mags. Brass, steel, mixed weights, and agreed. No cleaning, no letting it cool, no babying the grip. We started hammering drills. Fast strings, sloppy draws, one hand shooting, quick reloads. The GX4 Carry got hot enough. I didn't want to touch the slide. One rush string, I half-seated a mag, and felt that sick little hiccup. For a second, I thought the jokes were about to win. Fix the mag, smack the base plate, press out. Gun keeps running like nothing happened. A few hundred rounds later, my buddy is quiet, and the case of ammo is mine. I walked in thinking, budget gamble. I walked out knowing serious shooters don't quote memes. They remember which gun actually survives a stupid, honest beating. And this GX4 Carry did. I fought this gun for almost a year. Every time somebody mentioned the Hellcat Pro, I'd roll my eyes and grab a Glock 19 or some tiny micro that printed less. In my head, it was Springfield, crashing a party that was already full. Meanwhile, the people who actually shoot were proving me wrong. One instructor I trust showed up to 3 classes in a row with the same Hellcat Pro, same holster, same beat-up dot. A buddy who used to brag on his snappy little carry pistol suddenly had a Pro on his belt and was shooting cleaner than I'd ever seen him. Another guy sold 2 guns to buy a second Hellcat Pro. So I set up a test. Same day, same drills, timer running, my usual carry gun on one side, and the Hellcat Pro on the other. When the sweat and nerves showed up, the Pro felt like a shrunken duty gun. I could drive the grip, track the sights, and my hits didn't fall apart when I pushed the pace. My serious gun lost. Casual shooters chase the smallest thing they can live with. Serious shooters carry the smallest gun they can shoot, like they mean it. For me, that's the Hellcat Pro. There's a private range outside my town in Texas. No storefront, just 2 dusty bays, and a metal shed, where the instructors keep the guns that actually earn their keep. On the middle shelf sits one beat-up Staccato P. I've seen that same pistol on different hips, in different classes, day and night. Finish worn to silver, grip chewed smooth, magwell scarred. When somebody's serious gun dies in a qual, that Staccato is what comes out of the shed without a second thought. One afternoon, I stopped watching and put it on the line. I ran my usual carry pistol on a tight standard I care about, then ran the Staccato on the same drill. Same timer, same wind, already tired. With my gun, I was muscling the sights back and explaining away every flyer. With the Staccato, the gun snapped flat, sights fell into the same window, and my hits tightened up. If I handed you that pistol tomorrow and your groups didn't get better, would you still blame the gun or admit you've been hiding behind one? And that's still only number 2. Number 1 is the gun that finally made every other pistol in my safe feel like a compromise I couldn't lie about anymore. I've carried more pistols than I want to admit. Glocks, SIGs, tiny micros that shred your hands, big duty guns that print under anything lighter than a winter coat. My safe turned into a rotating excuse rack. The one gun that kept sneaking back onto my belt was the Walther PDP Compact. Not because it's trendy, because every time I had a day I couldn't afford to shoot badly, my hand went straight to that grip. One rough winter morning in Texas, cold wind, bad sleep, head pounding. I was stacking drills I normally cruise through. My usual carry gun felt twitchy and mean. I swapped to the PDP Compact, and the whole day changed. Grip locked in, trigger broke like I'd already fired 10 warm-up mags, dot dropped back into the same window even when I rushed. The target stopped looking like an excuse and started looking like work getting done. If you had a day like that tomorrow, would you honestly trust what's on your belt more than this, or are you just used to it? For me, this is where the search stopped. Serious shooters settle on the gun that carries them on their worst days, not their best. That's the PDP Compact. And after this, the bonus gun is the quiet one serious shooters still keep in the back of the safe. Because some days, even number one needs a very mean little backup. Bonus gun on this list is the one that actually leaves the house the most. For me, that's the SIG P365 X Micro Compact. Shorts, hoodie, quick run to the store, late night trash, run out by the road. When a bigger gun feels like too much, this is the one that still ends up on my belt. At first, I treated it like a comfort piece. Little gun, thin grip, easy to forget it was there. That was lazy. One bad week where things felt sketchy in a couple of parking lots reminded me that this might be the only gun on me when life gets sideways. A just-in-case pistol is still a gun that might have to do everything. Next range trip, I put the X Micro through the same drills as my full-size guns. Fast draws, close bursts, slow hits at stupid distance, one-hand strings until my palm burned. The slide stayed shonest, the sights came back, and it never acted like a toy. This is why it earns a spot under a title like this. Serious shooters do not give their smallest gun a smaller standard. They carry something like the P365 X Micro Compact and train it until it behaves like a real fighting pistol, not pocket jewelry. I've watched these pistols show up on different shooters and ranges. Same pattern every time. Serious shooters aren't chasing fancy roll marks. They want guns that don't choke when the timer's screaming. Here's your serious shooter carry test. 1. Has your carry gun lived through a miserable training day when you were tired and on the clock, or just easy lanes? 2. Is your setup with that gun the same week after week? Or are you still playing dress-up with holsters and positions? 3. If I dropped a cold drill on you right now, would you put cash on passing with that gun? If that dug under your skin, good. Fix the reps or fix the pistol. Then come back and tell me which handgun finally earned its place. I'm Steve. Say it straight.